All systems go. Clear for liftoff. What's up, everyone? Tyler Tamboline here, a.k.a. ToeTagginTambo, back for another edition of the NFL Main Slate Show here on the SHIPIT Nation YouTube station. Week 9 ahead. We're getting through the season quickly. Got Hoopster and Title here with me as always. And Hoop, I'll bring it to you first, but I feel a little lost without my helmet right now.
Man, you went all show with that. I was hoping it was a spaghetti strap situation where, it was a couple minutes in, and then we did the wardrobe change. But you stuck to it all the way through. I have no clue how you did it. Hopefully, you got some extra candy out there trick or treating for your commitment to the costume.
Hey, yeah, the kids loved it, so it was a lot of fun. We had a good Halloween, good weekend. Other than a few different little things last night, the best World Series of all time. Title, I'll kick it to you. Regardless, I obviously was cheering for the Jays, but you can never complain if, like everybody said, get that spot before the series starts, have it to go down the way that it did. Every little thing. That was literally the best World Series ever, and in a loss. I loved it. What did you think?
Oh, man. Oh, I thought it was on me for a second. It doesn't get any better than that. There were the two best teams. I mean, a game of centimeters, a game of inches. I mean, each individual little plays add up. I know I haven't seen anyone else really say it. I'll say it, though. The secondary lead from third base when he got thrown out, just the inning after, the announcers talked about it. Mookie on second base, his secondary lead. Like, it was night and day. If you go back and watch that, you're the winner, that wins it all. Like, what are you doing? Like, little things. I know Hoop coaches baseball. He sees it. There's so many hitting the cutoff guy. Just Dave Roberts. Shout out to Dave Roberts. Throwing Andy Paz in center field for the arm, because if it was a sac fly, you got to throw it. The game's on the line. What a jump he had on the ball. I mean, just everything. Miguel Rojas. That was the best game. Vladdy just misses. That's what baseball is all about, man. What an awesome series. What an awesome game. Blue Jays deserved it. Dodgers deserved it. Don't love seeing these big market teams win. Yeah. But when the littlest guys on the biggest teams do it, and then, shout out Yamamoto. That dude he's different.
Oh, yeah, he is for sure. The pod, I loved your comment in the Discord last night, said he mossed him. And Edmund didn't catch that ball either, by the way. That's like 9 times out of 10. That's just getting crushed. But, yeah, I mean, you can't complain about too much. Everything was phenomenal. It's, people have 100 different excuses for different things. But at the end of the day, Dodgers got it done. Great team. Jays made it happen. They got their fan base all the way to the very last game, 2 extra innings. Hoop, I'll kick it to you. I know it's an NFL show, but I think a lot of people were watching the World Series. It's the freaking Dodgers versus all of Canada. Basically, last night is what happened. Did you have any other thoughts on it before we hop into this main slate?
I think most people in the U.S. were probably rooting for your Blue Jays. Like, people hate the big market stuff. I was definitely rooting for the Blue Jays. My son rooting for the Blue Jays. Our whole house was rooting for the Blue Jays. Like, I just hate the aspect of baseball, like the big market teams where they can just get every single player. It really, really pisses me off. It's super annoying, and it's like puts teams at a huge disadvantage. Now, at the end of the day, you got to go out there and just win. No excuses. Work harder, all that sort of thing. But man, it was a great baseball game, great series. Like, you got every aspect of it. Like, bases loaded, bringing the infield in, guys making that catch in left field. I mean, really, it was left field. I mean, he came all the way over from center because who was it? Kiki Hernandez, I believe it was that who was in left. Yeah. He was not catching that ball. There's 0% chance, and he just big bodied him and said, "Get out of the way, I got this shit." And that was an incredible catch. And all the small stuff came into play, like not getting the good secondary. Like, I don't know how he doesn't. That play was too close at home. Like, he should have got there. I thought, like, the guy, he got the ball, kind of stumbled when he got up. Like, you got to get to home on that play. I mean, that's clear as day. Like, that's what we work on with our kids on third base. The ball's hit to second. Like, you're going. It's not like it's a line drive and bases were loaded, so you got no choice. You got to go, and didn't get there. But it was a great baseball game, great series. Unfortunate result. I wanted the Blue Jays to get the job done.
It happens. I think you guys broke it down solid. It was a really good one. We're definitely here to talk football. So everybody that's just joining us, we appreciate it. Let everybody file in. If you can do us a favor on the way in, make sure to hit that thumbs up. We're going to do our natural grand scheme overview title. And I'm going to start with you. We have 11 games. I don't know about you, but when you're building these lineups, I mean, we'll get to the KC Buffalo game, of course. It's a huge total afternoon game. There's some other games in the afternoon as well and pieces there, but it almost feels like people are building early only lineups, right? When you're putting your lineups together, it's like, wait a minute, do I even have any? And remember, you don't need anything in the afternoon until you do, right? You can get the most points and then anti-sweat and just fend everybody off. So if you love your lineup, I know a lot of people ask this, like, oh, do I have to get someone? I feel like I'm dead if I don't have the person or the player that creeps up the board. You need the most points. That's what you need. So wherever those come from, get after it. Title, I'll kick it to you. Your grand scheme overview here with 11 games on a week 9 Sunday.
Yeah, first I just wanted to shout out our man Hoop for the big MMA win yesterday. Yes, some of us were definitely watching some fixed UFC fights. Tyler, I mean, yeah, I think something fishy was going on. That's all I got to say. The lines don't do that in that short amount of time, that hard. They closed everything. So we will be definitely, I'll be watching that for the weeks coming, months coming, to see how that all plays out. As far as this slate, I mean, it's all roster construction wise is just so similar. We have all these cheap running backs that are in starting spots that project well, and then you can spend up for the Pukas, the Chases, like quarterbacks if you want. You can really do anything you want on this slate if you are playing the handful of cheap running backs like everyone is. Monangai, Tracy, Henderson. I mean, and if you want to spend up, you have JT, what price way up, and then I think McCaffrey's the clear one people will go to the savings in a lot better matchup. So it's just so concentrated in roster construction sense. But it's really easy when you do stuff like that. There's so many ways to get different. You can flip builds, not play as many cheap running backs. You can play a receiver or tight end in the flex position that I think will be pretty low owned. The nice thing, though, about NFL, well, we have 11 games versus 10 last week, which is good. But quarterback is always spread out. And at the end of the day, like, you're stacking your quarterbacks, your receivers, your run backs, your overstack, whatever you got to do. That will all be ownership will be pretty in check. So you can eat chalk. You can play Monangai if he's the best play. You can play chalk pieces around it, and you can get different pretty easily after that. I do agree, though. I don't think many go into these afternoon games, even though we got, KC Buffalo. That's going to be one hell of a game for sure. But for DFS perspective, Rams a huge favorite against Saints. Not the most appealing game outside of really Puka, Kyron maybe. Buffalo, KC for sure, but Buffalo is always tough with the receivers and stuff, and they're priced up. And then Jacksonville, Vegas, I do think it's a little bit of ownership, but there's no doubt the value's in these early games.
Good news is I'm going to Hoop run with his grand scheme overview, but Roshan's also out. That's where the Monangai talk is early on the slate. So it's not just Swift. It's, no Roshan either. So if you think it's Travis Homer, then go ahead. But that's just, he's $600 less versus the guy that's starting and has everything going for him. Hoop, I'll kick it to you. Maybe that's part of your grand scheme overview, but as Title said, as the chat said, congrats to you. Love the post out there. Winner back in the winner's circle and in the MMA street. Shout out the Title and Marley, always getting it done. And Hoop always pumps that up. It's like, hey, I'm just putting the stuff together. These guys got it covered. So congrats to you, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, they do it the best in the industry. I said it from day one. Like, no one else is doing that sort of breakdown on a weekly basis, not just for pay-per-view cards. They're every single week for UFC, which is like 40 some weeks throughout the year, I believe. And they do a phenomenal job breaking it down and kind of getting myself and our members on the right path. And I've had, I don't like track like winning per sport or anything, but when you look at like amount invested versus return, I would probably say MMA has been my best sport over the last 2 years. I've had some massive wins and had a nice stretch last year where I think it won like 3 or 4 weeks in a row. Like the main high dollar one to yesterday was the $20, and then every single other contest, it was the team was the nuts, and it was all based off of our content. So shout out to those guys. And I will say, man, there is nothing better. I've sweat millions of dollars multiple times. Obviously got all the way through one time winning the millie, but I've had other sweats for a millie. UFC sweats are the best when you know like that you just need this guy to beat that guy and they're locked in a cage and they're trying to essentially kill each other. Like that is the best sweat in sports. Like, bar none. It's absolutely phenomenal. So was fun. I knew I needed Garcia to win, and he absolutely beat his ass. It was like never, ever in question at any point in that fight. So that was fun.
You ran good on those. The last thing, Wonder Boy is an underdog. When you need one guy late, your guys have pulled through more times than not. You definitely
worked out well because a lot of people hedge, and I don't hedge. I just let it roll. And you can hedge in those spots. It's very clear. I needed this guy to beat that guy. I could have bet the underdog, but I just firmly believe like if you're doing this all the time, it's going to balance out. So no need to hedge. It's kind of my mindset, but you can do it however you want. In regards to the NFL slate, it's a really good slate. I will say that the one thing that definitely stands out, so many teams in really good spots, massive team totals up and down the board. So that to me immediately says things are going to get spread out at quarterback, and that it's always the case. I think it's even more so today. You can make a case for a lot of different quarterbacks, a lot of different stacks. The one spot where we're going to see some consolidated ownership is definitely running back because they're just the best standout values on the slate. We'll get to each of them. But then like when I look at running back, it's like Jonathan Taylor under 10%, Bijan Robinson under 10%. Like you have plays, like you have some really, really good plays at that position outside of the very popular stuff. And then wide receivers, a big question mark. Wide receivers been a big question mark for weeks. You got the guys at the top, but there's a lot of uncomfortable stuff at wide receiver, and then tight end is loaded. I mean, it's got to be the most loaded tight end position, I think, of the season. Like so many really, really good plays. But definitely the main thing for me is some really appealing spots that are just going to have to go low owned. And we'll talk about it. And one is, the hat I have on out right here. The Lions are in a phenomenal spot, and no one's going to be playing them today. And there's many more as we go along. So I'm looking forward to talking through this one.
Yeah, I got to say, SHIPIT Nation, home of the ladies. Shout out to Drea out there, our girl Nika. I'm sure our girl Kim is out there somewhere. We always got at least 2 to 3. So doing better than most of the other shows and sites. Appreciate all the ladies coming out to play the DFS. A lot of people talk bad or, oh, my wife hates it, this, that, and the other. I love seeing everybody in the streets. That's what's awesome about this game. One note I wanted to bring up too, my quick grand scheme overview is not going to be long. We're going to get right to this first game title. I'm going to start with you on the Monangai conversation in that game, but I want everyone to go in the chat right now. You can hit the thumbs up while you're there. Give us your Kansas City versus Buffalo final score in the chat and who wins. So if it's you got KC beating Buffalo, put that in the score and let us know. I want to know what you think of this afternoon game with those guys, and we'll pull some up here in a little bit. I appreciate you. Title, I'll kick it to you. We're going to the first game, Bears at the Bengals, double Bs, and we got Caleb Williams and Joe Flacco. Bill of Health seems to be okay. He's going to go. Jamar Chase, Monangai. We got a bunch of stuff going on with this one to kick things off. Start us here.
Yeah, I mean, you have one of the most popular yet one of the best mini stacks, skinny stacks on the slate right away in Monangai, Jamar. I'll start with Monangai because he's going to be the most popular play on the slate. Yeah, it's not only Swift. There's no Roschon Johnson. Ben Johnson has liked Monangai too. He's been a lot more willing to use his rookie running back this year than even with the healthy Swift than a lot of other coaches so far in the NFL. The props all check out for the price, minus 150 to score, 76.5 on the ground, 15.5 through the air, implied for 25 points, or 27, excuse me. Bengals aren't good. Like it all checks out. And that's back to the point. It's how your lineup is constructed. If you're playing all the chalk at the end of the day, maybe you should get different on Monangai. If you're playing Jared Goff to Jameson Williams or so many different stacks or roster constructions, Monangai is going to be my highest owned player. I just think he's by far the best. He projects the best. He has a lot of outs to get there. And I can get different in other spots. So, yeah, I'm definitely going to be playing it. In lineups I'm not playing it, I think Caleb Williams is very interesting. If he doesn't get there, Caleb can use his legs. He can throw it. Adunze, Zacchaeus. There is no Luther Burden. There is no Cole Kmet. So it is a little more concentrated. Zacchaeus very cheap. If I'm playing Caleb, you can go Caleb Zacchaeus just because it's so cheap. Zacchaeus full point PPR and Caleb's rushing, but I probably prefer getting Odunze just because when Caleb fully gets there, we've seen it earlier in the year, and he just can't really be owned at 6,600. So, and you can also play Monangai with Caleb Williams and just lock up all the points for cheap. So a lot of different ways to play it. I'm definitely playing a bunch of Monangai. Bengals side, yeah, Flacco to Jamar Chase, the skinny stack. Like, I'm fine with that. When you're getting 20 targets, 23 targets Like, Flacco can just bring one guy along, and it can be Chase absolutely breaking the slate. You can play Chase in any lineup you want. Again, 19, 23 targets is just out of this world. And then T. Higgins. I don't mind when I am playing Flacco stuff if you throw him in doubles. Do I love it? No, not really. It's mainly the Monangai Chase and then the Caleb stack that way. But I don't hate Flacco skinnies.
I wonder if anyone's going to go Monangai and just fade him completely out there. I think it's going to be more lock buttons than fades, but Hoop, I'll kick it over to you. Obviously, this is a bit of a conversation I've seen around and in the Discord is like, oh, but we just saw Bijan Robinson chalk bust last week, but quite a difference when you've got everything going for you in this spot, but just the price difference, 8,800 versus 4,600.
Komet is playing, by the way. My bad. Not that it means much for them, but Burden's out, concussion. Komet's playing.
I said the same yesterday. I wasn't following closely enough either. And I was like, I don't know. I think we just want this Loveland thing to work, but it's like just another interference piece there with Komet. Go ahead, Hoop. I'll kick it to you on this game.
Is that a heart drawn on your coffee cup? Is it part of the cup?
Oh yeah, it's a heart.
Look at that.
Oh. My buddy picked it up. I gotta ask him if there was ladies around. Give him a heart. I'll ask him.
Starbucks barista must have a little thing for him there. It's good to know. Not too much more to add. Monangai, great play, is going to be massively owned. Is it an absolute slam dunk play? Like, no, he could go out and get 6, 7, 8. Like, it's definitely in the realm of possibilities, but it's much different, like you said, than an 8,800 running back going out and busting. Like, you can still do something. Your lineup can still do something. If he doesn't go off, it's just too cheap. He's going to get all the work. It's a really good spot. They're projected to score 4 touchdowns. Like, they're projected to score 27, 28 points. Like, he's just a really good play. I mean, just really good. I'm sure he'll catch the ball. Like, he's going to do everything out there. So really good play. Caleb, Adunze, Zacchaeus, DJ Moore should be kind of overlooked here. And he hasn't had the greatest season, but he would be pretty low owned. And then on the Bengals side, it's really just like Flacco to Jamar Chase. I mean, the targets are absolutely insane for Jamar Chase. 23 and 19, like 23 and 19 targets. Dude's got 42 targets in 2 weeks with Joe Flacco as quarterback. That's absolutely unheard of. There were some injury concerns for Flacco, but it sounds like he's good to go. And, if Flacco does happen to go out or get hurt, I mean, the outlook for Chase is not going to be as good, but I mean, you just don't see that in the NFL, like averaging 20 targets over the last 2 games. So he's fine. You can throw Higgins in there as well, but I mean, it's clearly just, we're going to pepper Jamar Chase, and it's been working out fine for him lately. So good game. I mean, a very, very good game, good pieces. If you're looking for something low owned, like, Adunze's ownership is going to stay in check, and even DJ Moore is going to stay in check. So, Caleb to those guys, but it's a good game. And there's a lot of really good games. I mean, that's the thing. You got to make some decisions today, depending on, I mean, this would be a tough slate if you're only making like 3 lineups, right? If you're like a 3 lineup person, like it's going to be tough today because you got to make some very tough decisions, because just about every single game we talk about, one of the sides is going to look really, really good, and one of the sides basically has like a 28 team total, which is big. So good slate for MME, I think, today.
Yeah, so just starting on this one, lots of things to unpack here. I do like Kevin's comment. They always trying to get married men in trouble. And then our guy Rob with the good one there. It is Jordan Love's birthday today, and Title knows all about Jordan Love and those Packers. So maybe that's a spot we'll talk about here in a couple games coming up. I'll say to Aaron, I believe, didn't Browning throw Chase 2 touchdowns the game or at least the second game that he played with him? So I think it's a bigger conversation around if Flacco does get injured, it doesn't mean Chase is done. Like, he's
not dead. No, it's not like he's dead. I mean, it's not going to be, it might not be as good. He's still totally fine.
And he is chasing that record. I forgot. This is a complete narrative street, but you never know. Like Calvin Johnson's 4 consecutive 10 reception games. It's definitely a spot for him to get it. If anything, the biggest thing for me though is, it's not who you play, it's how you play him, as I always say, but this game is all about that. When do the Bears, like I've said this a million times, you look at the Lions some weeks and I'm like, okay, if they got a 31.5 point team total, those just don't exist very often. So you better figure it out. And we're going to talk about that when we get to the Indy game. We're going to talk about that when we get to the Kansas City Buffalo game. When do the Bears ever have a team total of 27 points? So if you're not playing Monangai, which I know most of you are, you still better be trying to think about what you're doing in this game, unless you just assume it busts. Like somebody mentioned it, Bengals D. at like no ownership, sure, if you want a way to sort of leverage the opposite side, but really that seems very telling to me. Also, this game total opened at 48.5. I feel like title here, but this one's noticeable to me, up to 51.5 now as we get to game time. So all this stuff that you can get to, they are missing, like you said, missing a piece from the Luther Burden on the Bears side. No Swift, no Johnson. You can play Caleb Williams with Monungai. You could play a quad. You could play Williams, Monungai, pick one, and OZ if you want, and then run it back with Jamar Chase as a way to get different with that. So I think you can kind of do whatever you want in this game, but I definitely think I'm just making the case that obviously a lot are doing Monungai and moving on. It could be other pieces in this game that you need to work with. And with a 27-point team total for the Bears implied, I think that's something to think about certainly here. And I mentioned already on the Flacco side, I think the other thing is like last week, T. Higgins one-off. He started strong. He had the 44-yard touchdown right away, and then it just shuts down. I was all excited. Like that was a nice piece for Flacco. It was, well, Chase is still going to get his. And then we got Higgins in some one-off spots. I think you could have like a Monungai Higgins. I do think outside of the earlier grand scheme overview I gave, one interesting note on today would be balanced builds, right? Where you're getting to some of these mid-range guys and hoping that the 25 to 30 pointers come from them. And it really starts with the running backs, and it's probably a good segue, Hoop. So I'll move to you for game 2 because it involves your Lions at home and it involves a running back. And there's other plays here as well. Bobblehead day, by the way, for Amon-Ra St. Brown for those that follow, but the Jahmyr Gibbs play, 8K. It's not like he's getting no ownership, but when you have JT and CMC and Monungai, and there's all these other value guys, it's everyone has to be at least somewhat kept in check in certain areas. So what do you think your Lions today at home, and how do you see this one playing out?
Yeah, I mean, another team projected to score 4 touchdowns on the slate, and another team with that big total that's getting ownership relatively low. I mean, in check, nothing's crazy here in terms of guys that are going to be super, super popular. And I think it's a phenomenal spot at home. I mean, this offense can nuke, and they'll keep the foot on the gas pedal. That's the nice thing about the Lions. I mean, they're one of very few teams in the NFL. A lot of these teams in the NFL, they get the 2 touchdowns and they get the 2 touchdown lead, and they're like, all right, yeah, let's start, jamming it with David Montgomery or something like that. The Lions will continue to go, and they're going to be low owned. Goff is going to come in at probably 5% or below. Gibbs will definitely be held in check with all the value running backs. I think he's a phenomenal play, and it's different from last year. I mean, they started the games with David Montgomery in there, so Gibbs really wasn't getting in some cases to the end of the first quarter. Now he's out there and he's the man. I mean, he's a phenomenal play, can get there in so many different ways, and ownership held in check. If people are spending at wide receiver, it's probably Jamar Chase or Puka. It's not going to be Amon-Ra St. Brown, and he has just as much upside as those guys. I mean, obviously, if they're going to throw the ball to Jamar Chase 25 times, it might not be as much upside, but he can score 2-3 touchdowns. We've seen it. The Jameson Williams thing, you gotta play him. I mean, I don't know. Like, if you're playing line stuff, you have to include Jameson Williams if you're building multiple lineups. I mean, the ongoing joke is he's an $80 million decoy. He hasn't done shit this year, and there's been a ton of talk from offensive coordinator, head coach, everybody that they've done this guy a disservice, and they have to get him the ball. He's going to have a big game. Like, this offense is too good. He's too good. He's going to have a good game at some point. Is it today? Hopefully, because I'm going to be playing him. So I think especially if you're getting overweight on the lines, make sure to include Jameson Williams. I mean, just too much upside there. And then Laporte is another tight end, 4,300, very, very cheap. Lions are in a phenomenal spot. And then if you want run backs, like, no one's going to be owned on the Minnesota side. You got Justin Jefferson there. I think Jordan Addison is fine. And it really is, it is probably just those two. I don't like the split with Jones and Mason. The one thing at running back today you need, I mean, with these game totals and team totals and running backs that are too cheap, you need a big boy score. So, like, I don't, no questions about backup running backs today. Like, we're definitely not in play. Like, you need your running back to score a lot of fantasy points today. So, no thanks on Mason or Aaron Jones. The run backs are Jefferson and Addison, and they're both very low owned options. So, I think the Lions are in a really, really good spot today and should be low owned. And so many different ways to stack them. Like, I mean, you can play golf with Gibbs if you want. You can play golf with 2 pass catchers. You can play golf with the tight end. So just a variety of ways to stack them. Really good spot here for the Lions.
Your boy, don't forget, it's the battle of you versus Danny today. He's talking about,
I wish the back and forth was as exciting as last year. Last year was fun going back and forth. Your team actually performed quite well. This year, not going so well, and when they lose by like 3 touchdowns. So all I ask Danny is that you keep coming back here, even though when your Vikings really disappoint you and you realize they're a very shitty team. I just want you to come back every day, and we can talk about something else. It doesn't have to be the Vikings Lions. It could be anything else you want, but we love your support here. I just ask you to keep coming back when you finally realize your Vikings fucking suck.
You know what? Hamwich tried to talk me into that. He wants to do JJ, JJ, JA for the Viking side with JJ McCarthy, Justin Jefferson, and Jordan Addison, and then Jameson Williams on the other side, and get all of them in there and run a 3-1 that way. I prefer the Goff side, and I think this is a good question to skip it over to you here, Title. But can Minnesota push today, or does it matter? Because the thing is, the Lions not afraid to run things up. If you don't think it's going to be them doing something, it might just be the Lions smashing 41-0. Who knows how these guys pull these things off. What do you think of this spot?
This is probably the spot I'm most concerned with, but I am not getting much. And I think a lot of it just comes down to one of Hoop's last points, which I guess you can take both ways. There's so many ways to stack them. There's just too many ways to stack them for me. I'm going to play J-Mo and Amon-Ra with Goff, and now Montgomery and Gibbs or Laporta is going to have it. I'm going to play the other ones, and it's really hard for me to get it exactly right. I think the Lions situation in general is just super hard to get it exactly right, which you need on 11-game slate. I think it's a lot easier on like a 4-game slate or something like that. If you just miss the one guy, you play J-Mo and it's a Laporta day, like you're just drawing dead for the top. So I think there's other spots that are more condensed. I don't feel good about it. I mean, not playing the Lions is scary. It's just when they have 6 different guys, and they're all priced pretty efficiently at the end of the day too, which is something to note. Other side of the ball, I love Addison. I love Jefferson, but I don't know about McCarthy. I truly don't. They're implied for 20 points when other teams are implied for 27. So I'm scared about it, but I will not have much of this game.
Yeah, I think it's I don't know. Maybe it's just the product of the slate. I'm way more worried about when you get to Packers and Bills and of course the Chiefs and all that stuff where they literally just spread it around like crazy. Here, I can play Goff with Gibbs, but realistically, it's going to be a lot of Goff with 2 of Amon-Ra, Jameson Williams, and Sam Laporta. Run it back with JJ or Addison and call it a day. I feel pretty good about the spot. I think there is a chance that you could just see the onslaught come through and you have cheap options to be able to make it work, but then you'd sort of land the same as others that go that route. But I think you could see a route of the Lions just absolutely smashing these guys here. It's, again, people are talking about the JJ McCarthy homecoming and all these different factors. It's you still got to be good. That's the thing. You got to, I'm sure, everyone's going to complain about that statement too, but it's got to be shown. And that's until it does. And then when it does, that's great. So all the big JJ McCarthy fans, maybe he'll be good soon. It has not been the case right now. So I think there's a chance here we could just see the Lions run it up on these guys. And I think I definitely want to have a part of it. It's just whether or not, and the Jameson Williams thing too, Hoop, that's on them, right? They've taken the blame for that. And I don't believe, the coach speak is always hard to track and people try and follow it and this, that, and the other. And they've said a ton of stuff this week, but they paid the money. Everyone's making fun of him for running cardio. He's my check's cashed. I'm good. Yeah. They don't want to get me the ball. Don't get me it. I'm good. I'll stay healthy, but he wants the ball. He wants to compete and they say they want to get it to him. So I think if you're building those stacks this week, you got to be thinking about him within those. Anything else to add there, Hoop? If not, you can take us to the next one, which is the Packers at home versus the Panthers.
Yeah, nothing else to add. I guess the one thing I will say with the Lions, to me, it's easy to get the main pieces. I think the issue is the trick plays and the randomness of someone put in the comments about Dan Skipper catching touchdowns. Right now, it's definitely Gibbs way over Montgomery, so you don't really have to worry about Montgomery. It's not like you have a wide receiver 3 here. They're not using the wide receiver 3 at all, so it's really Amon-Ra and Jameson, and then Laporta is cheap. So I think if you are building multiple teams, it is easy to get this in a variety of ways, but you do have to allocate some resources, which I think Title was kind of touching on, to make sure you get every combination of it, because it's not going to be fun if the Lions score 35 points and you don't have the guy that scored the 2 touchdowns. I'm
more worried about Montgomery too. He's minus 130. That's the dude I just freaking hate. If they go all the way down and Montgomery punches it in, you just could have wasted 9 minutes of the clock. But But
it's tough,
it's the most scary fade for me for sure. Because they're going to move the football. They're implied for a bunch of points. It's just when you stack it up, you better hope you get those right guys. Because one Laporta day and not a JMO day, you're dead for first.
Yeah. Oh, gotta have them both today.
Man, maybe. And then you played Gibbs, and you know what I mean? It's just, it's a really scary fade. I think the Chiefs are easier to figure out now than the Lions for the sense of it's Rice, it's Worthy, it's Kelsey because they can't run the ball, but we'll get there.
Yeah. This is definitely a spot where I don't know. It's like I don't know how to go about playing the Packers. I mean, they're favored by 2 touchdowns here at home, projected to score 28. They now have Christian Watson back in the mix as well, a team that already spreads it out. They're likely to score here, but like, how does it happen? Josh Jacobs is pretty damn expensive, and it's like, all right, do you want Josh Jacobs or do you want to take a shot on Jonathan Taylor or Bijan Robinson? He's really expensive on FanDuel. He's right up there with those guys on FanDuel. So I really struggle with this game. Like Tucker Kraft, I think is, I view him as kind of their wide receiver 1. So if I am playing this, it's going to be Tucker Kraft. I struggle. I probably won't have much of this game. It will be low owned. That is the nice part if you do want to play it. Like nothing here is going to be popular. But maybe you guys can talk me into something here because I'm just not seeing it. And apparently the Panthers have now finally realized that it should have been Rico. I'm sticking with it. Dowdle should have been. No, Dodal. Sorry.
I was going to say,
yeah. No. I said it the right way. I want to go back to saying it the wrong way. Rico Dodal. They finally realized that he's the guy that they should have been using the past couple weeks with Chuba Hubbard back. So who the hell knows what's happening with that situation? But this is a tough one for me outside of Kraft. So if you guys have something, maybe you can talk me into it.
No, and Title probably knows the Packers better than most, but I'll say I do agree with one statement from earlier, but it would be against this spot. I think Mahomes finally might be easier to figure out than the Packers. This is just nuts. I have no clue how, like someone said it, I honestly would not be surprised. Your conversation about Montgomery, very clean, makes a ton of sense. I feel like even you could see Emmanuel Wilson here into the mix. Then you have Dobbs, Golden, Watson, Kraft. Like you got so many options here they could go to. It's really tricky. I guess Love would at least make sense as going, if you went Love naked, maybe, because then it's, if you think they're putting up their 29 points or whatever it is at home and it's not going to be Jacobs or you don't have Jacobs in there and whatever else, maybe that's the way to do it. But even that gets tricky with so many other quarterbacks on this slate. Give us your thoughts here. Packers at home versus the Panthers, big boy favorites.
Copy and paste what I said about the Lions. I mean, all right. They put up 35. You played Romeo Dobbs and Golden and it's a Jacobs day. You play Jacob. It's just, there's too many guys rotating in. It's even more murky with Watson. Tucker Kraft's definitely my favorite. Interesting pricing note, FanDuel to DraftKings, talked about on the Cash Show. DraftKings, he's the highest priced tight end on the slate. Will keep his ownership lower. FanDuel, he's the 4th highest priced tight end on the slate. Will definitely be more popular over there. I think he's a good play on both sides. His yards after catch, he's just a beast. And then I think Packers defense. I think they have a lot of outs to get after the quarterback. And I mean, you could see a big score there. So pretty much just those two. It's just everything I said about the Lions can say about the Packers, but I'm a lot more scared fading the Lions than I am the Packers because, I mean, at the end of the day, the Lions can move the ball a lot better at home than it feels like the Packers. I will say the last thing, weather. There really is no weather on the slate, but Ross said that the winds are 15 miles an hour, could see gusts to 25, 30. It's only yellow. There's no weather to worry about on this slate, but wanted to mention that.
This might be my favorite comment in a long time.
Just wait though. I got to check this now because I didn't look because we were live on the show, but Nate just posted his core. In Discord. It has a Packer in it. It is not Golden.
Okay. I was gonna say he's been calling me Golden.
He knows.
No, it's not Crafty either. It's not Crafty.
Oh wow!
You got to get in the Discord.
Yeah, got to get in the Discord.
He couldn't resist his Packers, but man, we need him in here pumping Golden. He's been stroking that dude since week 1.
Jacobs could do something on this slate. He would fit that balance thing I mentioned earlier, and it's somebody who just ran all over Carolina. Somebody, what was it? Who played them last week? Man, I can't remember.
Did they get beat like 41-3 or something? Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's James Cook.
Yeah, James.
Oh yeah.
I think he just crushed and ran all over them. I mean, obviously Jacobs can do things here. I just had a thought, like if if I was doing this, and I'm probably not, but if I did, it was, one or two lineups, like Jordan Love. I'll put it somewhere where it matters if that's the case, but like Love, Dobbs, Kraft, and I'd probably use Jalen Coker or something cheaper on the other side versus obviously Tet would make the most sense and fit. But I think that's where it gets a bit tricky. And I try and look for something cheap to be able to still fill it out with good running backs and roll it out from there versus just the same as everybody else will. But I don't have too much to add on this game. Packers D going to go overlooked because we have the Rams later at 3,900. We have the Chargers upcoming at 3,800. We've got the Lions at 3,700. So I just think obviously you're paying up.
I will say I want to add on to that point before we move on because Title's talked about it a little bit. Like we don't always advocate for paying up at defense, but man, this might be the week to put an emphasis on some of these strong defenses because there's 4 or 5 that are in really, really good spots, and we don't have many like cheap defenses that look good. So this could be a week to maybe prioritize defense a little bit.
It's a good shout. Defenses matter. I mean, even though the position's so we've talked about it more and more. Shout out to Lando. We got the Vikings Mason week, the Lions week. Like you need those scores some of the times, unless you have the stone nuts. I don't know if it was 2 weeks ago. Like the defense had 4 in the millie because he got everything else right. But I've started to prioritize defense a little more too, and really thinking about stuff.
So one thing I'll say about that, because it's a good topic, and I'll kick a question for a little engagement in the chat first, because Ham actually brought this up. I thought it was funny. He said, we're going to have Nathan Peterman 2.0 this week. If you remember that game when I think it was the Bills faced against the Chargers, and there was 5 interceptions in the first half or something just absolutely ridiculous. Who is going to be the Nathan Peterman of the week? And who can we include in this? We can include JJ McCarthy, Bryce Young, Tyler Show, or however you say his last name. And there's one more. Oh, Cam Ward. Cam Ward,
yeah.
And the interesting thing about that, what I'll say is, as people are starting to answer that, I'm curious, who do you think it would be this week that's going to be in this spot as we go to the Texans at home versus the Broncos? Because I think, Title, like you said, the prioritizing of it, it's like, I know there's high variance. I know it's tricky to figure out a defense, but you're figuring out your pool. It's high variance. That's why we make cap. If you're playing like an MME set and you're playing 150 lineups, so I'll take 20% and whatever I get. But if you can finagle your pool some, you got to think about who these players are coming in. And would they protect them in this spot, or are they just going to let them feed them to the wolves? Because whatever happens, happens. Who gives a shit? Those are the spots you want. And that's, where you sometimes get that versus they bring somebody else in. We're like, okay, they're going to make this a really easy game plan on them and go from there. So I don't know. I think it's a definite option today with some of these defenses we have. But Title, I'll stay with you. We got the Texans at home versus the Broncos. A lot of Bo Nix hate this week, even though it hasn't really done anything wrong. It's just people are starting to say like it's like certain matchups he's got have been better. And they're talking about Drake May, who's coming up in the next game, being the better guy than Bo Nix. And if you look into the stats, what's your thought here on the Broncos going into Houston?
Yeah, I mean, I got nothing bad to say about Bo Nix. It's just you go from a really good spot to one of the most difficult spots. Houston can play defense. They're at home. Their front seven's good. I mean, I think they can get after Bo Nix a little bit here. I promise we'll get to games that I like more. I like that Bengals Bears game to start it off. I really don't like this game much. Nico Collins, again, when people are going up for Jamar Chase and Puka, he's kind of in a dead range. No Patrick Surtain, big play guy. Like if Nico has 25 at the end of the night, he's on the winner at, I don't know, very, very low ownership. Would I be shocked? No. So when I'm playing Monangai, a lot of chalk, and I fell on him as a one-off. Sure. Other than that, though, I really don't like this game.
Yeah, Houston D, I think Collins, my guy Alex yesterday on Leverage Lane Hoop, he brought up some Collins stats for the games he plays. The problem, like the thing about Collins, it's funny you said the thing about Jameson earlier with Jameson Williams, where it's like, oh, the $80 million cardio man or whatever. It's like the thing about Collins is he would have a 2,000-yard season if he could stay healthy. Well, yeah. The second part is very important to being able to make that happen. So he is healthy right now. He's out there. It is CJ Stroud who's not looking himself, but he can always bounce back, and this could be a spot, but it is Denver, but no Surtain. So that's, I guess, what the thought process here is around the Collins stuff. Kirk back. Your boy Dalton Schultz is cleared to go, but what's your thoughts here on the Texans at home versus the Broncos?
Just going to be Nico Collins. I mean, this is an ugly game, and the Texans have played a lot of ugly games, and their defense is pretty good. Their offense is terrible, and I think they know that they have to play the ugly games, and they've done a really good job of playing a lot of ugly games. So the total in this game is 40, and we have a lot of totals around 50. We have a lot of team totals around 28. these teams that are projected to score around 20. The running backs are both splitting. It's a crowded backfield on both sides. Cortland Sutton really hasn't gotten the job done this year. It's a tough spot. It's just some Nico Collins, and that's it for me. I don't want to play this game.
It's crazy. The team total, the game total opened up much, much higher. It dropped like 5 points since actual open, and not, I don't know, like it doesn't seem like that much really changed beyond. It's like it just, people realized it. So maybe that's part of it. But yeah, if you're going here, I think Collins as a one-off. I think Texans D, if you land on them, that's about all the interest that I have. So Hoop, I'll stay with you. Patriots at home versus the Falcons. I know there's certainly some people in our Discord this morning looking for the Bijan Robinson flop leg, even though on paper, bad matchup, but Bijan can catch balls. He can run. He could get 3 touchdowns. It's Bijan Robinson. He could easily bounce back and have a big week, but certainly hurt some feelings last week. That's for certain.
Yeah. It's, Bijan sub 10%. Probably not going to have many opportunities to have that situation in place. We're showing 7. I think that's probably right. And it could come down a little. It could be 5, 6. And if you're playing, this comes down to if you're playing a lot of teams. If you're playing a lot of teams, like getting overweight on Bijan is easy. And even the matchup is tough. Like he can catch 8 balls, so and get there without scoring like a touchdown. So I'm interested in him. Like I want the volume guys on the Falcons side, Bijan and Drake London. Drake London's a guy that can get 15 targets, and I want to play him. The Patriots, I will say, I almost went with like Drake May as a core play today, but the same problem remains when looking at Drake May stuff is like, who do you play him with? Like, and it's very difficult. I know we talked about it last week. I think Title had brought it up. It's like it's very tough to pair him with a pass catcher, and then you look at Hunter Henry, but it's like, man, tight end is absolutely loaded today. I'm fine getting some Hunter Henry, but as like a main team sort of thing, it's just tough to play Drake May. And I do think, Ramondre Stevenson being out could lead to some additional Drake May runs. So maybe it's just Drake May naked. I'd be fine playing him without any pass catcher, I think, but I do really like him. I just struggle to find the way to play him. Travion Henderson, I think is fine. I don't think he's like a slam dunk play. I definitely prefer Monangai, and projections do, and everyone does, so it's not saying anything crazy, but I do worry that they don't give him like the full workload. Like with Monangai, he's getting all the work. With Travion Henderson, I don't think he gets the full on work, but he's cheap. And again, we talked about it in the cash show a little bit, and it does differ a little bit in tournaments for sure, but where he's priced, especially on FanDuel, is like 5,200, like 1 touchdown and you're good. Like you're cool with that and you're moving on. DK's got to do a little bit more. So I definitely perform more on FanDuel, but he's fine. I love Drake May. You could definitely play him with Diggs. But man, so many guys are willing to throw the ball to. Booty, Hollins, Demario Douglas. It's just so many guys. But I do like the spot. And it could be a sneaky game too. Like if you play Drake May and, pick your favorite option, and then, Bijan on the other side, that's a nice little low owned stack there. So I am interested in this. Tough though to figure out how to play Drake May.
Yeah, Drake May kid. If you want to go and play him on his own, but I think it's more interesting to figure out the Henderson stuff too, because I know the chat's already talking about it. Title, and with the Monangai, you can play Monangai and Henderson if you wanted to on this slate, and then just pick a pay up or go different with your lineup construction. But the other thing is Henderson is right there, $300 more. Depending on how you project him, and we have him at a little bit higher, I think, then he does start to look all right. But then obviously the ownership looks like it could travel with him as well. How do you actually think the Henderson situation plays out? What's your thoughts on him and then the rest of this game?
I'm a little nervous about it for the sense of they've been so hesitant to just get this guy involved when Stevenson has given him every right to get involved with his fumble problems and stuff. He can't pass block, which is definitely a concern when you have their franchise quarterback back there as well. You need to do that as a running back. Terrell Jennings has a real prop, the backup running back, 22.5 rushing yards. Travion's is 52.5. Like, he's going to be on the field. Travion's not going to be on the field nearly as much as Monangai. He's minus 115 to score 115, which isn't bad. But when you're comparing Monangai and Travion props, like Monangai looks so much better. Ownership will obviously follow, but I just think there's a lot more pass Henderson can fail. On top of Drake May's good. Like he can design run himself. He can mix it, throw it around to everyone. So I don't love Travion, to be honest. I'm going to play some. He's really cheap. He's a good player. One screen pass, he can take it, but you can definitely play Drake May with Travion. But I'm a little more hesitant on the lower. Not only is it Monangai, we have Tracy, we have Jalen Warren is pretty cheap at 5,500 if you want to find the money there. We have plenty of cheap running backs. So I don't know about Travion. I'm a little scared. Drake May, I'm kind of kicking myself. Like I said it last week and it was right. Like, who is it? But then I was like, it's Booty. And it is. It's like always Booty now. The dude just absolutely check out Rio's value report.
We got to clip that, all right? We got to get someone to clip that and play that song in the background. Booty, 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 booty everywhere.
I mean, it has been always Booty. It's tough, though, because, yeah, I like Diggs a little bit. I like Henry. You can play May naked. The thing with Drake May is the dude's just – I mean, he's a baller, and he keeps getting the job done. If you go look at the game log, like you probably wanted him on a lot of teams. Our guy, Nguyen, I don't know exactly how to pronounce his name, big guy.
Okay.
100K in the 2% Drake May in the 1,500 last week. Super sharp. And when you play plays like that, he had a snowflake in his team. You don't have to be perfect when you get off the board and stuff like that. So Drake May has 30-plus point upside. His pass catchers are all cheap. I'm going to play some, but yeah, it's kind of back to the Lions and the Packers where it's really, really tough. But I do think the Patriots is my favorite spot to try and figure out. They're cheaper than a lot of those the lines and stuff too. But yeah, I like this game a little bit.
I will say the secondary stack maybe of like Henderson and London or Henderson Pitts, I think is a nice way to get some action to this game. There's definitely a possibility we see a little bit more of a back and forth. If you're going Drake May, I prefer the overstack, but I get the just playing him naked. Like that makes sense because it's hard to figure out. It's just as bad off as like some of those other spots we talked about with the Love spot or the Mahomes spot, which like you said, has even got easier now. I actually think later when we get to it, it'll be a spoiler. Spoiler alert now, but I think Buffalo is harder to stack, even though I'm going to try.
100% agree with that.
The Kansas City stuff now becomes like it seemingly has become a little bit easier, yet they still spread it out a ton. So it doesn't mean it's easy. It just feels easier to build the lineup. With the Patriots, you've got May, Henderson, Diggs, Booty, one of Hollins or Pop Douglas seem to be able to get into the mix if they want to as well. You have Hunter Henry. Oh, wait, it's not him. That's Austin Hooper catching the ball. Oh, they look the same. Okay, here we go. So it's really tricky from that perspective, but I do think the difference maker this week on the thought process around this is the Falcons being able to keep in this with Penix back. It's not because of him necessarily, but it's the full, you've got Robinson, you've got with London back. It just makes things a little bit easier. Now we talked about Mooney last week when it was Mooney, Casey, Washington, and Pitts. It's a little bit different than with and Cousins versus Penix and London being in the mix on top of Robinson, Mooney. You've got Pitts, and then even Tyler Algier who gets in the mix. So you could see them push it at least a little bit here. That would be the one thing. And then Title, the chat was getting on you a little bit. You didn't bring Hunt into the play when you talked about those cheap running backs.
That's all I gotta say. Hunt is mega cheeks. That dude. We'll get there. I mean, I'm not saying it's a daily fantasy game. Like, yeah, if there was ever a spot for Hunt to get there, but I mean, just eye test wise, watch the guy. He might run like a 5.40 right now.
Title is biased too, don't forget, because he does not have a Hunt Chiefs jersey that he wants to keep forever. It's another one, McKinnon, that he's got over there. So he's against this guy. But by the way, speaking of kicking it old school, we will get there later. CEH brought up to the squad this week. So they got CEH on their squad this week. That is going to be something else to see.
First round pick, LSU guy. They went all the way, and Mahomes wanted Clyde Edwards. Imagine if they actually made a good pick there, how good that team could have been.
Yeah. We'll get there in a little bit on this stuff. There's a lot of good conversations coming up here in the chat, but just to see it, yeah, we'll see how this one goes. Let's move on, though. I think this one's a really interesting one, Title, and I'm going to stay with you. Where are we at with the Jackson Dart conversation now when it comes to cash games and then leak it over into tournaments as well? Because I know at 5,200, I think his rushing prop is almost 40 alone. It's not like he's some 350-yard pass guy, but you never know. Our stack rankings like him, the back and forth of this game. What's your thoughts on Jackson Dart and this game against the 49ers?
Very much in play for cash if you want to spend down. The floor of him is just so much better than a lot of guys because that rushing floor, like you said, 36.5 rushing prop. Now no Scatabo. There's design run plays for him. He's a gamer too, man. He's fun to watch. He can make plays with his legs, extend plays. He doesn't have the best weapons out on the outside, but I'm going to play him just because he can have 2 rushing touchdowns. And if that's the case, there's so many different ways to go about it. I honestly don't even think I hate going Dart Tracy. It's not my favorite ways to do it, but Tracy can catch some passes out of the backfield. And then you just get every single rushing attempt with touchdown upside from both of them as well. Probably my preferred way is to play him with Theo or Wandale or even both. And I don't hate Slayton too. So Dart will be pretty popular. Pretty popular quarterback is always a lot lower than like it really matters at the end of the day. And he has so many ways that you can pair him that the ownership is even less within stuff because you can get different with it, which people will do. I really like the Giants stuff. Again, I'm definitely in on Dart, definitely in on the pass catchers. And then the run backs are clear. You have Christian McCaffrey, who's going to be popular, but just looks like it's such a great spot. I mean, he can catch 10 balls in this one too. What is he to get a touchdown? I think it was, minus 220. I mean, he looks like a slam dunk. But do know, like, people will be, when they're spending up at running back, it will be McCaffrey over JT, over all the other ones with that price discount. So once you start going Monangai, McCaffrey, Dart, like, start really thinking about the other spots. Maybe that's when you go Slayton and stuff. Jawan Jennings, I mean, they're still beat up at receiver, and he's 4,300. George Kittle, 4,800. Tight end's good. He's going to have to be low owned. So, yeah, maybe it's weird. I'm passing on, like, these Lions, the Packers, all these games, and I'm slamming this game. But I really like it on both sides. We play a salary-based game. A lot of these guys seem pretty cheap.
Yeah, Hoop, I'll kick it over to you on this one. The spot looks really good. It reminds me of like last week with Tampa Bay and New Orleans, where it's like we can just overstack the shit out of it and see what happens. I think those builds look really good. You won't get the opportunity to late swap, the late swap opportunity, as I like to call it. You won't get that this week, though. You will find out early on what's going to happen in this one. So give us your thoughts. Giants at home versus the 49ers.
Yeah, I mean, it's cheap. Besides Christian McCaffrey, everything here is really cheap. Like the quarterbacks are cheap. Both are in play. I kind of built my preliminary teams, and I was getting a lot more of these quarterbacks than I anticipated. So, unless I go in and manually change something, like I'm going to have a lot of this spot. I think I'm fine with it. Like if you play like the Giant stacks, like you're going to be able to get some of these stud running backs. You're going to be able to get some Jonathan Taylor. You're going to be able to get some Bijan Robinson. So from that perspective, I like this game because of what it can do for the rest of your lineup. Like the only expensive piece here is Christian McCaffrey, and he's a great play. Don't get me wrong. Like you can definitely play him, and I will be playing a lot of them, but it allows you to play other expensive things outside of this game. I think both quarterbacks are fine. You got a cheap running back in Tracy. You have all the pass catchers are cheap here. Jawan Jennings, Kittle is cheap. Wandale Robinson, Slayton, Theo Johnson at tight end. So you have a lot of cheap options here. So I guess the reason I like this game is what it can do for the rest of your lineup when you play it. I mean, again, there's just one spend in this game, and it's Christian McCaffrey, who is definitely a good option. But if you want to go elsewhere with your spends, it allows a lot of flexibility within your lineups. I think this is a good game to stack and then have a strong secondary stack to go along with it. Like if you load up on this one and you want, I don't know, like you can do, Gibbs and Justin Jefferson or something. Like you have so unlimited options if you stack this game. So I like it, and overstacking I think is fine. Good game to target.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? There was something else somebody had brought up about this one, but yeah, Wandale. That's the guy you can get in there if you want to make something happen. But I think, the overstacks of this game of what I have most interest in. I also think Mac Jones became a lot more interesting to me just overnight. And I got it in the slate plan and thoughts around that. It's the opposite side of Dart. We've seen this a million times. He's $200 cheaper. You can play him with McCaffrey. You can use it to move off McCaffrey. You can run just passing attacks. I think the other one too is the pricing. FanDuel and DraftKings can't decide. And you guys know I'm in these FanDuel streets these days. If you look at Jennings over there, you're like paying up for probability because he's 6,100 versus he's 4,300 on DraftKings. On DraftKings, Bourne is 5K versus 4,300 on Jennings. And we know the Jones-Bourne connection could still be there. So I think it's a little bit interesting. And you could have like a Mac Jones, Jennings, Bourne, Kittle skip out on McCaffrey and get something from the other side if you like it. I think the Slayton stuff is interesting. So that's the thing about this game versus the Tampa Bay New Orleans one last week. It's early, so there's no real time to late swap or do anything. You can't. You're playing it or you're not. You're making that decision right away. And then second, I think there's more ways to get different within this. There's you can do 2 tight end. I don't know if that's the week for it with all these running back values, but just noting if there was a way that it would get there, it would probably be in like a game overstack. So this game I've definitely got interest in. I think if you've got a SHIPIT Nation membership, you probably have some interest in it. But if you want to get a SHIPIT Nation membership, you can go there and use code SHIP19 to get 5 days for $19. We do have another pretty big promotion coming up this upcoming Thursday. So this would be the best time to grab the 5 days for $19 because you're going to get everything leading up till then, and then you can make your decision on how you want to move forward. So just keep that in mind when you're out there. But if you're going to check us out, now's the time to do it. 5 days, just $19. It's all access, including access to SaberSim, Discord, you name it. So for $19, less than $20, give it a shot. Anything else on this one, Hoop? If not, I'll let you take it to the Steelers at the Colts. And Jonathan Taylor, $1,000 more than McCaffrey, just using the most basic, easy example because we were just on it. And pretty much the exact same projections and ceiling. Obviously, his ownership much lower because of that. But yeah, I think that's where people struggle this week at almost 10K for Jonathan Taylor on DraftKings, at least.
Yeah, another game that should go kind of overlooked. And the one thing that definitely stands out to me in this one is the Steelers defense has been dog shit. I mean, I think a lot of people look at the Steelers and, defensive, sort of team. Like their defense has been bad. Now they're going up against, I don't know, probably the most productive offense like all around this year. I mean, the Colts have just been rolling. Daniel Jones has been great. Taylor's been great. Pittman's been awesome. Tyler Warren's been awesome. I kind of hate to go through all these games and say I like them, but this is another spot I really like. And again, low ownership. It's not going to take much. Like, again, it would be very difficult for me to play 3 teams today. Like I don't think I'd be able to do it. And if you are someone that normally plays 3 and you want to play more, I would go down in stakes and just play more contests or more lineups, play 20 max instead of 3 if you feel comfortable doing that, because I want to exposure to some of these spots. And this is one. I mean, they're projected again to score 28. Jonathan Taylor has the right price tag on both sides, very expensive on both, and rightfully so. He's been very, very good, and that's just going to lead to low ownership. We're showing 10. I think it probably comes down. I think it's probably 8 when it locks, 7 or 8. So in on him, Jones to Pittman, Jones to Warren, and then on the other side you got plays. Jalen Warren, 5,500. I think fine option. DK Metcalf, fine option. I'm not going to mess with the tight ends for the Steelers, but you have a lot of different ways to play this game. It'll be low owned, and I don't know, again, the Colts are projected to score right around 28. They're another team that's projected to score 4 touchdowns. So I want some exposure at low ownership. So I'm in on this one. And again, you have direct run backs if you want, Warren and DK Metcalf.
Yeah, or you could play Warren squared in this game too, a little secondary stack.
Yeah.
But I think this is the one title. I spent some time on this on Leverage Lane. I know probably not everybody gets to catch that, but just of note on this game, it is one where I sort of reverse engineer the thought process of, and I'll repeat it quickly, but like if you're not on Jonathan Taylor, I get that. Like the price, we just talked about it. You have CMC, same projections, different ownership, but $1,000. It can add up. It can move. You can move different things. There's, if you want to go Gibbs, there's so many ways to go, plus all those value running backs. So at least I get that. But then you talk about this Colts team with a huge team total, even on the road, and usually at least a more condensed offense, especially if you're not going to Jonathan Taylor. So you're thinking about, okay, now it's Daniel Jones, Pittman, Downs, Pierce, Warren. Is there other dudes that could get in the mix? Sure. But you can definitely stack Daniel Jones with 2 or 3 options. So I am thinking about this spot in a lot of lineups if I'm not on Jonathan Taylor, because where do these points come from? Do they happen? I think yes. And then where are they coming from? I'm going to try and figure that out in my lineups. What's your thoughts on that and then this game as a whole?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm staring at the stone right now, and I see 2 defenses that are pretty bad through the air and 2 that are solid through the ground. And I like that in the sense of like JT's super expensive. And yeah, I mean, he's good play. He's -310 to score, 96.5 rushing prop, whatever. But if he gets 1 touchdown, 96 yards, he's probably not on the winner. But all these Colts pass catchers, like, they're so much cheaper. I mean, I think Tyler Warren is very mispriced. And finally, it seems like a game where in the second half, it could be close. The Colts have just dominated so many teams in the first half. JT gets all the stuff, and the pass catchers don't get anything after that. If this game's competitive, Alec Pierce, I mean, he gets like at least 1 deep shot a game, and he can haul it in. He big-bodied, he boxed out an NBA or basketball term, boxed out the DB last time, just went up and grabbed it. Like, you can do that again. Pittman's been great. Downs is my least favorite of the bunch, and I watch it be a Downs day. I have nothing against him. It seems like Pittman and Warren have been his primary targets, but I like Daniel Jones. Pair him with 2 or whatever you want to do and run it back with either Jalen Warren or DK Metcalf. I think Warren, he's going to be pretty popular, no doubt, but he would have been way more popular if we didn't get like Monungai stuff or the Tracy stuff. Like there's just other cheap running backs that'll eat into his ownership. He can catch passes out of the backfield. He's been very efficient. Rodgers will dump it down. I like him a lot. And then DK Metcalf. This Colts team has been really good this year, but they have been vulnerable through the air. If they get down 2 touchdowns and Rodgers has to sling it, it's always look off the safety, come back to DK, find him when he's one-on-one. So I like this game quite a bit for sure. Prefer stacking Colts side. You have a clear run back in either Warren or Metcalf.
Yeah, a lot of different ways you could go here. I definitely like the Colts side. I think it's just a ton of different ways you can play it. I think the one that I came around to Bourne a little bit more in the previous game. I definitely have love for Jennings there. He's just been great. I think the same conversations being had around Alec Pierce here. He's been fine. He can catch a ball, a couple of balls downfield. They just like tossing it up to him. So that would be how it sets it up. But I also think it could be downs. And I really like Warren. The interesting thing about Warren is everyone's talking about Tucker Kraft's ceiling game last week. Well, check your calendars and watch who they played last week. It was the Pittsburgh Steelers. So it could be a good spot for my namesake, Mr. Tyler Warren. Love to see that spot hit as well. So if you want to really stack it up, you can go like Jones, Pittman, Warren, and even pick one of Downs and Pierce. And you don't have to run it back, but it could be a spot for Metcalf. The other interesting thing is Metcalf is the exact same price as Warren. And that would be a spot where people would be using Warren in a running back or flex, most likely, where you could get away with a wide receiver in the flex based on the setup of your build, because you're not going with Warren, you're going with Metcalf instead. So at least somewhat interesting from that perspective. But the Pittsburgh side, pretty healthy. It's just a bunch of guys that it's hard to pick through. So I think we want to go the Colts side on that one. Hoop, I'll kick it back to you. Chargers at the Titans, the last of the morning games. I talked about it last week, having to sit through and late swap to these Titans and watch this guy, Cam Ward. It is a very tough scene. So I think the Chargers D is certainly in play here. And then you've got Kamani Vidal with no Haskins. You got all kinds of opportunity here, I think, on this Charger side. It's just it can be tricky to get right as well with guys like Gadsden and QJ as the outliers to the McConkey, Allen, Vidal, and setup that they have there. Give us your thoughts on this one.
Yeah, I mean, Chargers D for sure. Vidal, just where he's priced. I mean, he's a little more expensive than those cheap guys. And then, he's not in that top tier. He has to be held in check. He has a lot of different ways to get there. I think he's totally fine. The Justin Herbert stuff, it's getting tough. Similar to what was it? Drake May. We talked about how it's difficult to stack him. The Chargers, difficult to stack Herbert, I guess for another reason, just because so many options. It was Quentin Johnson earlier on in the season. Now it's not Quentin Johnson, and he's going to be like unowned. So I guess that would be maybe like a low owned sort of play, where early on in the season, like if Quentin Johnson's price where he was, we were just absolutely jamming the guy. Now it has been, kind of 3 straight weeks of not too much. I don't hate him as a low owned option if you are playing Herbert. Lad McConkey's fine. Keenan Allen's fine. And then Gadsden just has to be held in check because there's so many tight end plays, and he finally has that price bump. So, they're, again, projected to score a lot of points. I don't think ownership is going to be all that high outside of McConkey. Vidal will get some. It is tough, though. Like, do you want a Titans run back? And for me, the answer is absolutely not. Like, zero interest in playing any Titans today. So many good teams today. I can't click any of these names. So I do want some exposure, though, to the Chargers. And again, another reason to, look to maybe drop down in stakes and play more lineups today, opposed to like a 3-max or 5-max. Just so many spots where guys and teams could go off. And this is definitely one of them.
Yeah. I like my guy, Aaron over here. He's got it covered. I think Vidal fits that same mention that I had earlier. If you have something like a Gibbs, Vidal with Williams coming up in the next game, yeah, you have no Monungai, but I'm saying you could have 75% Monungai in your portfolio, or you could have him in 4 of your 5-max or something like that. And you've got 80% of them within your 5-max, and you end up going this route. I just think it is somewhat interesting to do something like that. The chat was mentioning Shamir DK. This guy could be the guy if he gets something going in the slot, but it also could be, 6 catches for 60, and that's what you get. So, Title, I'll kick it to you on this one here. Chargers on the road in Tennessee against the Titans.
Is it DK or Dyke? Do you know for sure?
DK. Well, we'll go DK either way, just for the sake of the name.
For sure. I've never watched the volume or never have the volume on for the Tennessee.
They said DK on the broadcast. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you're playing any Titan, I guess you can do that. We're playing 11 game slate though. It's showdown. Sure. Play him. Like I can't play these Titans. Yeah. I think Vidal, Chargers defense. I'm not going to compare Cam Ward to Nathan Peterman. I actually think Cam Ward's talented and I hope he finds a spot eventually to get some pieces around him and a coach and just a franchise. But I mean, right now with what he's working with, he has an uphill battle all game long. And this Chargers, they're favored by 10. Vidal, he has to be kept in check just because you can go 1,000 down and you can find starting running backs for cheaper. He's kind of in a dead range there. He'll get ownership, but I mean, I don't think really enough being 10-point favorites, minus 155 to score, 76.5 rushing prop. He looked good. Everything screams Vidal is a great play. Pair him with Chargers defense. Titans have been someone to pick on all year. I like it. Now, if it's not a Vidal day, I think I'm just more likely to play these guys as one-offs and just hope I get the Ladd McConkey day. I get the Gadsden day. It's more condensed there. Yeah. I don't love the Herbert full stack. Just I'm worried that they don't get pushed. And I think whatever's on the winner, whatever stack or quarterback's on the winner, I have a hard time seeing them not be pushed on the other side, with an exception. Maybe it's the Lions because we've seen Dan Campbell willingness to run it up. But I think it's Vidal. I think it's the Chargers D. And if I had to pick any pass catcher, I think I'm just going to go Ladd. It feels like it's starting to turn back to last year where Ladd is the wide receiver one. Props agree. He is the most receiving yards for the Chargers receiving room. And then it's Keenan 46.5, then Gadsden, then Johnston. Crazy. It's a week-to-week NFL, how far that has changed. But Vidal is my favorite with Chargers D.
Gadsden 6,400 over on FanDuel. Just it's the way it goes. It's not like it's not deserving from what he's been doing. I'm just saying it's crazy to think about what he was just a few weeks back, and that's kind of the way that it goes that way. Speaking of DK, that guy, it was the interception at the end of the game last week. It was $100,000 interception because if DK catches that ball, it was the bonus, the touchdown for him and Ward, and that's what I needed as I was creeping up the board. So it happens, but a lot of people were waiting on that bonus.
You and Black. Wow, look at the timing of that.
There it is. Crazy.
Literally. That's crazy. You guys said the same thing. Brutal.
Speaking of timing of that, hopefully you guys can appreciate this. I mean, we're making really good time. There's only 3 afternoon games to go. If you haven't noticed on your screen, we did move a lot of our marketing directly onto the screen. So you can see what our company is, our brand. You can see the promotion where you can get in for 5 days for just $19. So with that said, we will bring our one sponsor to you. That is YouTube Tutorials. And today in YouTube Tutorials, I have to tell you guys all about this amazing thing. It shows you exactly where almost 900 people are watching. And all you have to do as a viewer enjoying free content is click this thumbs up. So you see how it's unclicked? You click it. You can do it from both a mobile and desktop device. It's amazing. It's incredible. It helps us all. We truly appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for this ad read. And we will get on to the afternoon games. We have the Rams at home versus the Saints. Hoop, I'll kick it to you. This is another spot. I mean, we've got 3 good afternoon games. There's going to be late swap opportunities on this slate. Give us your thoughts on this game here, because I think this is something we could see that becomes where people are, going on the KC Bills, or they're making the Trevor Lawrence stuff happen. But there is Puka Nacua back on this slate. There is the Williams. They're coming off a bye. They're going against the Saints. What's your thoughts on this one?
Well, the one thing that definitely stands out is they're, again, projected to score a lot, and I don't think ownership is going to be all that high. Like, if people are deciding between Jamar Chase and Puka, I think majority of people are going Jamar Chase over Puka, which will hold his ownership in check a little bit. Devontae Adams has a big boy price tag that people do not want to pay anymore. And then Kyren Williams is kind of, again, in a weird spot, and I like Kyren actually quite a bit. So maybe that's the way that I get most of my exposure here. They're favored by 14.5 or something. And then you can just naturally pair him with the Rams defense. Like, Kyren and Rams defense, I think, is a really good play. Kyren should be held in check. Again, we talked about Vidal last game. Same thing with Kyren. Like, he has to be held in check a little bit. I will have some Stafford stuff, but, Devontae Adams looks overpriced, and I think probably a really, really low-owned option. Now, if you're trying to get involved in this game in total, it's a little difficult because I don't want to play anything on the Saints side. Projected to score 14 points, 2 touchdowns. Like, there is nothing here Maybe some Olave, some Shaheed if you want, but this is a slate where it should be very high scoring. Like if I'm playing guys and I'm getting overweight on guys, I need them to have a huge ceiling. And I just don't know what sort of ceiling these Saints players have today. So I guess, now that I, kind of talk through this, I think Kyren Williams Rams defense is definitely my favorite way to go about this game. And, I like it quite a bit. I like spending at defense like we talked about. It's not a lot of times where we're actively looking to spend at defense. And I think I am actively looking to spend at defense today. And Rams are, might be at the top of the list.
Yeah. Our guy Sean says Saints get curb stomped here. Sure, the Rams get up early and the Rams just run with Kyren and Corum to end the game. This is probably, a possibility too. Shout out to Michael Tyler here, but it's like you said, who gets them? Title, what's your thoughts on this game? And if that's the case, who gets them?
Puka's back. I like Puka. The dude's the freaking man. I mean, are people forgetting? There's just so many designed receiving. His first read's always Puka. He's always open. He has all the upside in the world. So he's my favorite play by far. Yeah, I like the Kyren take. Nothing wrong with that there. 6,800. You can play him with Rams D, similar to the Vidal Chargers stuff we're talking. Devontae. Yeah, he is way, way up there. There's no doubt about that. If I play Devontae, do I just go Stafford and get all the way? I don't know. I really don't love it outside of Puka, Rams D, Kyren, so I'll just leave it there.
I guess from a late swap perspective, like Go Collect, our man Kyle just mentioned this, I would take it a step further just to say that I think if you're dead going into the afternoon with your Mahomes lineups, which people are definitely playing them at somewhat of a clip this week, it's fair enough to say, and for good reason, the way he's played this season, but just noting it, that would probably be the late swap, right? You can move again. Of course, we'll get to this next game with Lawrence and Geno. There's tons of different ways you could go with these next two. But I think if you're stuck on something there and you want to move off of it, I wouldn't hate trying to get to like the Stafford, Puka, Adams stuff. You don't need to run it back and just see what that looks like when you're switching out your builds and doing stuff that way, because it's probably lower owned. And you'll also have a good inclination of what the Nakua stuff is going to be for real once you see what the Chase stuff is. And I'm talking by stuff, I mean ownership. Once you see what that ownership is early on Chase, like Hoop said earlier, it's going to be directly correlated with the Puka stuff later on at the $8,500 price tag. So I don't know. I like the Stafford side. You are paying up for probability. One thing I'll say is if you do have all these value running backs on this slate, this could be a spot. It's pretty much this and the Kansas City Chiefs and Bills game where the pay up spots are, where you go to more expensive quarterback at Stafford at 6,300, Nakua 85, Adams 75. Move on from there. That would be a way to do it differently. But I don't know, Title, do you have anything else you want to add to this one? If not, we can go to Jags at the Raiders.
Yeah, not really. Jags Raiders, I actually do like this game quite a bit. Probably my favorite in the afternoon. The reason I like it, I'll start on the Jags side, is, really sad news. Travis, well, it's not like he died. Travis Hunter, he's out for 4 weeks, but he was finally coming on. It almost looked like wide receiver one. Now he's out for 4 weeks, non-contact. But it just leaves these Jaguars pass catchers underpriced. People might hate it. I'm going to keep playing Brian Thomas. I'm not going to forget what he did last year and the potential this guy has and the upside. So I think Brian Thomas for 6,200 is a great play. But you also have two other cheapies below 4K, Parker Washington and Demi Brown. I can just easily play Trevor Lawrence stuff because it doesn't take much salary to pair him with. If he gets me the bonus at 300, even 2 touchdowns, I think there's a lot of ways to go. And I think I have the nut run back in Brock Bowers. He's 5K. He's fully healthy. That's all I need to hear. He's fully healthy. He's 5K. He's drafted 16th pick in best ball and stuff like that earlier. He was far and away the best tight end. So I get the best tight end or one of the best in football at 5K. I get plenty of cheapies on the other side. And then if you're avoiding this whole game, or like we talk about portfolio, Raiders defense is the same price as Falcons defense, and they might be half the ownership. So if you want to pivot at the defensive position, we know Lawrence can make mistakes there. So yeah, I like this game quite a bit. I'm going to be playing Lawrence stuff, and Brock Bowers seems very, very strong.
Yeah, Hoop sold me a little bit on the Lawrence stuff, I think. And also then the Discord this morning was chatting about, there's tons of different ways you can go. I've got lineups that feature 3 of these guys with them. I think you got the Parker Washington situation, but then, but he's going to be a chalk value. Okay, well, let me put him in with Brown as well. Let me put him in with Thomas Jr. Let me run it back with Bowers. Let me not run it back at all and play the balanced running backs that I talked about, where most people already have Manungai, whatever ends up happening, and goes from there. But you could have a bunch of other points put up in different ways. So you can get completely different roster construction builds. I do like that the Raiders D call is a way to get different at the cheap range. I will say, though, and I said this last week, Hoop, I'll kick it to you on this point, is when we did the box score watching like you do for the kickers and Showdown, the Jags haven't been that bad either. And people literally said Geno's name when I didn't include him earlier in who could be the Nathan Peterman of the day. ETN Jr. pops as well, too, a little bit in the stone. So if you had some, you don't need to mix them. I'm just saying there's definitely thoughts here around some options to go at defense in this game, too.
Yeah, I'm fine playing either defense, but I actually really like the offensive side of this game for sure. And it kind of starts with Brian Thomas. Like the dude is too talented, and like he just has to do something. I've been playing a lot of them this season. I'm sticking with it. I think this is the spot. It's a really good matchup against the Raiders. Now Hunter's out of the mix, and again, he wasn't doing anything crazy, but like, it just eliminates one body, and the targets could be massive for Brian Thomas. The price is at an all-time low. I'm in on it, and I'm in on the Trevor Lawrence stuff as well. And it's kind of more so like what it does for the rest of the lineup. We kind of talked about it in that San Fran Giants game where you can stack it up, and then you're able to get big, stud pieces to go along with it. That's kind of why I like this game. Like I can play Trevor Lawrence with Brian Thomas, Parker Washington, De'Ami Brown if you want. And then if you do want to stay within this game, you have an underpriced Brock Bowers. You can go to Jacoby Myers. You can go to Trey Tucker, and it's all super cheap. And then I'm able to play other expensive guys with it. So I really like the spot for Trevor Lawrence and the offense. The running backs here, I'm not going to have as much of ETN, Genty, not super excited about it, but I'm very interested in this game. Ownership should be held in check for sure. There's nothing. I mean, Bowers is going to get some ownership. Brian Thomas is going to get some ownership. Parker Washington will get some, but it's not like a crazy amount where you have to avoid it. And it's just another cheap game that I think could go off. I think this game could go off, but I'm also playing the defenses too. I mean, we're talking about the Jaguars and the Raiders. Like anything could happen here. Geno's been terrible. He's been really, really bad, but he was getting Bowers back, and I think that does make a difference. So a variety of ways to play this one, but this is my sneaky game. The total sitting at 43, much lower than some of these other spots. I think it could potentially go off. So I do like this one. And again, people will play Brian Thomas. People will play Parker Washington. People will play Bowers, but not many people are going to be playing the quarterbacks here. That's the main difference. And I don't even hate some Geno as well. He's been very, very bad, but 4,600 for Geno. He's got Jacoby Myers. He has Brock Bowers back. Like I'm in on that side of it too. So I like this game.
Yeah. And I think if we get the big Brian Thomas Jr. game, it's going to be something big. Like it's not just, I don't think it's going to just be 8 for 100 and a touchdown. And we're like, oh, he finally had a big game. I think it's going to be, when it happens, it's actually going to be an explosion game. And it's going to be something where you're like, holy shit, he has 8 for 160 and 2 touchdowns. And now that's obviously very helpful for Trevor Lawrence. That can also make up for one of the cheapies. If you do want to put them with like Brown and Washington, and they only end up with 10 or 11 points at 38 or 37, it's not the end of the world if you do get that boom for the other two guys with it, or if you overstack it. And then you don't need someone, but there's definitely ways to push it on the other side. What I do care most about is if you don't want to try and figure out Genty, Myers, Tucker, Bowers, etc., you just feel like that can be something that pushes the spot. Like it's Geno with all his options for one. Somebody mentioned in the chat here was GBR Classic. So Geno's best game of the year was the first time. He's calling for that, but he said first time of the year with Myers and Bowers in the lineup together since week 1. There was other comments about when he had Bowers in the lineup. 2 20-plus point games this season. Obviously, 20-plus is good at 4,600. If that happens, it's more of a tournament play, but I think the Tucker spot looks good. The Bowers spot looks good. You never know what you're going to get with Myers, but it's a similar as the San Francisco side, too, before we go to this last game title, is Myers is 5,400 on FanDuel to Tucker's 5,500, but then you go over to DraftKings and they want 5,300 for Myers and only 4,800 for Tucker. So I don't know if anyone's even going there anyway, but I just look at stuff like that and see, is there anything we can glean off of that? But anything else you have on this game? If not, take us into this one, the Chiefs at the Bills.
Yeah, what a real life football game in this one, man. I think the Chiefs the best team in football right now, but you got Josh Allen on the other side that always, I mean, anytime these two square off, it'll be a great game. As far as DFS though, that doesn't great real life game doesn't necessarily translate to DFS. No, it definitely can, but I mean, well, I like Mahomes. I like Kelsey at a 1-up position. I like Rashee Rice. But after that, I'm really struggling. Like I always like my guy Worthy, but it feels like the risk reward. I mean, he has the big play upside, but it feels like the floor is too low for me on an 11-game main slate. It feels like a more afternoon type one where it's clearly Rashee Rice, and he really still likes Travis Kelce right now. And yeah, like you said, the Juju, Hollywood, there is other guys, but Rashee Rice is the freaking man. Like I want to play a lot of Rashee Rice. He 100+ yard upside, 2 touchdowns, 10 catches. Like he can nuke the slate. I want to be in even at 7,600. Kelsey at 4,600. He continues to like him, and Mahomes. So that's really how I'm playing it when I am playing Mahomes. I don't even love Mahomes stuff much though. I don't think I want too much of this game. Like Stat or whoever is saying I forgot Kareem Hunt. Like I said, no, I did. He stinks. Plus 115 to score. Fine. 47.5 rushing prop. Garbage. I don't want Kareem Hunt at all. I do not think it's a Kareem Hunt spot. Bill's side, it's really tough. Like you said, I think Bill's side is harder to get right than the Chiefs side. And for that reason, and then having to pay all the way up for Josh, I'm really going to play no Bills. Rice is my favorite. Playing with Mahomes is fine. Kelsey fine. And I won't have much of this game. Again, pre-lock. Again, late swap and stuff. I'm going to leave it in the hands of everything. But yeah, pre-stuff, I do not like this game much. It's my least favorite in the afternoon window, actually. Jags, Vegas, clearly my favorite.
I love you went from pre-flop, post-flop to pre-lock, post-lock.
I know. I almost said pre-flop, but
it's funny because we know you're in the poker streets. I mean, it's obviously funny, but just that you could flip the words pretty quickly and make it sound the same. I also thought you pulled a nicely. You were going to pull a little Shark Tank action there. You said, and for that reason, I'm out. When it came to the Bills, you weren't in on the investment of James Cook this week. Our man Nades in the chat said no one playing Cook again. It's interesting, and I think Nades is back with me this Monday. Myself, him, and Bellman will be back on the Takedown Breakdown. We'll be walking it through tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern with the results of this slate. But the one thing I'll say is last week on the Stone, we had James Cook was definitely a good spot. Like once you saw it and you went back and saw it, you were like, damn, like that was something I should have thought about. It was a way to get action to this. And it could work here again. It really feels though, Hoop. I know there were some big boy scores in the chat about people posting it, but more people talking about it. The common theme I keep hearing is the Chiefs are going to bear down on defense. It feels like it's going to be under this. If it's always baked in, why is the total up to 52.5? Like I could certainly see that. What I could see happening is an explosion game that is way lower owned than it probably should be based on everything. And by the way, most people won't be able to late swap because this is the spot they would be on if they're there to late swap too. If you're already done in the morning with everything else, you can't get there. You're just going to watch it happen. And then we see it in the playoffs or something with a 50-point total. And then it's 20-17 and one team grinds out the win. We've seen this tons of times in all sorts of football stuff. But what do you got with this one? Who Bills at home versus the Chiefs?
I struggle with it. I mean, I'm going to be on it some in my 150, but I do struggle with it. Like we've been beaten, or at least two of us have been beating the Mahomes drum for the entire season, where he's a different quarterback this year than previous years, running it more, kind of almost like a running quarterback. Last year, they just wanted to win the nasty, ugly games. And we're all in agreement where, not much, Mahomes was needed last year. And you definitely didn't. This year, he's a different guy. But the problem I have with the Mahomes stuff, it's like, you're going to be the same as everyone else. Like if someone's playing Mahomes, it's Rashee Rice, Kelsey, or both, right? And like there's just Worthy. I agree with what Title said with Worthy. It's like he's now the third option on the slate. And even if he does get like one touchdown, it's like you need more than that on this sort of slate. So I do struggle with the Worthy stuff. So it's like you're kind of in the same spot as everyone else. And then like the Bills side doesn't look – it's tough to get a Bills like run back. Like who are you going to play? I guess it's Shakir probably, which I would be fine with playing Shakir. But the thing about this game that interests me the most, I think, and I don't know like how much I'll have of it, but it's like you're looking at this game and now everybody, I'm going to go against like my Mahomes stuff a little bit. Now everyone just wants Mahomes over Josh Allen. Like Mahomes is the better DFS quarterback than Josh Allen all of a sudden because of, what Mahomes has done this season. So if you're building a couple teams, right, and you want exposure to this game, I would 100%, if I was hand building, play Josh Allen over Patrick Mahomes. Like to me, that's the easiest thing. Like Josh Allen was, DFS QB1 basically all last season. You always wanted Josh Allen. Now everyone wants Mahomes over Josh Allen. Josh Allen's at home. Like, I would just have to play Josh Allen over Mahomes in those hand build teams. And the nice thing about playing Josh Allen is you don't have to pair him with anyone. You can go Shakir, you can go Kincaid, but it is tough. And then James Cook, I know Nate's posted in there about James Cook, and he's been good, but man, there's just so many running backs. I do kind of struggle with this one a little bit, but the one take I would have for sure, if you want exposure to this game and you want to play it and you're hand building, I would definitely play Josh Allen over Mahomes, and then you're going to be kind of different than everyone else.
Yeah, I'm going to have some full game stacks. You know what side that's going to start with, but I also think the sharpest way to play this, and I think this will work really well actually today, is to play Josh Allen with Rice and Kelsey, because they can have the games where 7,600 Rice, it would still help Mahomes, but I'm saying Josh Allen could have he could have 2 on the ground for the Bills. He needs something to push it. Those are the guys that push it. He still outdoes Mahomes for just $200 more. You land on the exact same build. You don't have to figure out his side if you don't want to, or you could try and do it and throw like a Coleman in there and still have Rice and Kelsey on the other side and do an unconventional, like a 2-2, where it's like Allen and pick one with the other 2 guys that I think it is from the other side. And then you're hoping what Hoop said is correct in that Allen does outdo Mahomes for $200 different, because one quarterback is starting to run this season a lot more than he has, and it's been fine. I think the other quarterback we know loves to run, and he loves to run in touchdowns as well. So that's the other tricky part about the hunt thing. I'm with Title and the prop stuff and everything with it. But to the point of like a lot of people saying the touchdowns variance, it's true. And I still agree even on that angle of it. But it's like when people are saying he needs those touchdowns, like you're talking about the best team in the NFL getting to the red zone, where he gets his opportunities. Does this team get to the red zone? Yes. Do they score 30 points often, or can they? Yes. Would that help him, even though it's annoying as hell? Yes. So it's like, that's where the tricky stuff comes in. Obviously, when you have guys like Manungai and situational stuff there, it makes it tricky, but obviously you can also play 3 running backs on a slate. So see how that works for you out there. I think for me, the Colemans, Shakirs, Kincaids, Worthies, there's enough guys in this game to move it around. But if I had a lot of lineups, and I do, and I had none waiting for me at the end of the day, I will not feel very comfortable, because you'll be winning a lot of money in the morning, because there is just simple math. 8 games in the morning with a ton of ownership versus the 3 afternoon games that have a little bit of Rams D, little bit of Puka and Williams in that game. What do we see here? A little bit of Parker Washington, maybe a little bit of Brian Thomas, but light. And then some on the KC Bills with the Rice. But even like Kelsey's not super owned. So yeah, there's not much ownership in the afternoon. So you will be winning a lot of money if you're winning money going into these afternoon games, and then hoping that these things go badly. And we saw Tampa Bay, New Orleans go bad last week. Let's just hope that does it again. But man, it's not going to feel good if you got a Chiefs Bills team chasing your ass down, because if they start popping early, it's going to keep going most likely. And then you're going to be really in trouble if you don't have that. So I have interest here. It's on the Bills side, of course, leaning into playing those guys on the Chiefs side. But Title, anything else you want to add for this slate, or anything else that we missed going into the finale here?
You're just making me like this hunt talk and all this stuff. I've been getting into college football a little bit, and it's just names on a paper to me. And I really like that, actually, because like me watching all these games, I get biases. Like I'm watching with my own eyes how bad I think Kareem Hunt looks, but that doesn't necessarily like we play a DFS game, opportunities, like random stuff can happen. So it just made me think, like, I know NBA, I know MLB, I know these guys. Playing a DFS sport where it's just all on paper, processy, ownership, it's kind of a different fun dimension, and it reels everything back into, at the end of the day, some of the best DFS players know nothing about the sports they're playing in. We're not just trying to predict outcomes. When we're predicting ownership, we're predicting inputs, and when you win, what's the easiest way to get there game theory wise. So it's just a beautiful game is DFS. So good luck, everybody. Enjoy every single Sunday that we have left.
Yeah, and I don't think so at all. Like, this is what I'm saying. It's, again, remember, I'm cutting it off there. Almost all Allen lineups will not stop with 2 Chiefs guys and just run it that way. That's what I'm saying, is makes it different, especially in a higher dollar, smaller field. And then those can be big time differences. If Josh Allen outdoes Mahomes by, say, 8 to 10 points, well, now it really starts to rack up, but your lineup construction didn't change at all over the $200. Like, you got instead of the Rams D, you got the Lions D in a great spot too. Like little things like that. It's $200. So I definitely think this. And yeah, the chosen Nick comes in and says, I mean, why are we forgetting in the past the Chiefs-Bills game has gone for 80 before with worse players on the roster? That's what I'm saying. It's not like it's going to be unowned. I'm just saying it's interesting that the more people I hear talking about, or even those that are typing the high scores, I caution them to go look at your lineups. Do they reflect that? Because if you think this is a 37-34 game, you might want to figure it out on your builds and have your lineups ready, because that's not going to feel good later on when you knew it was going to be high scoring, but because you couldn't figure it out, you didn't angle towards any of that. I think it's a little bit better of a spot to figure out this week, and at least worth trying from whatever perspective you choose. Hoop, final thoughts from you, man, before we get out of here?
I've been distracted. You got me thinking, because I actually like that call, the Josh Allen, Rashee Rice, Travis Kelce stack. That stuck in my head. I like that, because people say, yeah, combined ownership for sure is going to be there. Not really, because no one's playing Josh Allen. I mean, it makes you a little bit different, because people play Rashee Rice and Kelce. They're just going to play Mahomes. Josh Allen, those guys can still get there, and Josh Allen can rush in 2 touchdowns. So I like that call, and I've been thinking about it for a couple minutes. So regardless, it's a good slate though, man. There's so many spots today, so many really good spots. Not a ton of super chalk. Like tight ends has so many different plays, they'll all be held in check. Like the big time chalk is definitely at running back. Like those guys are going to be very popular, and there's different ways to go about it. So I like the slate. It's going to be a high scoring slate, I think. And good luck to everyone. Let's keep this heater going. I mean, it's stretching across multiple slates, multiple sports, multiple formats, and very, very proud of the community. And let's continue on and get some big wins today.
Yeah, just to round out at the end of the show, we got Flacco active, Dalton Schultz active, and Bengals edge Trey Hendrickson inactive, official now too. So Darisaw is active for the Vikings. It's all starting to roll in. So you guys, we'll have it all covered in the Discord. We'll have our final projections, ownership, everything up over at SHIPITNation.com. Like I said, big promo coming up for the NFL season to round it out for week going into week 10. But if you get the 5 days for $19 with Ship 19 right now, that includes Discord, includes Saber Sim, all sports. Like Hoop said, we've got heaters across all of them right now. The community absolutely crushing. I'd love to see that, but we'd love to have you over. Check it out. It's just $19. Go to SHIPITNation.com. Use code SHIP19. All right. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to hit that thumbs up on the way out. Subscribe if you like all this free content and want more. For Title, for Hoop, and for myself, ToeTagginTambo, let's ship it.